what's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you as the Packers prepare to take on the Miami Dolphins on Thanksgiving night. So today I'm just going to give you a quick injury update. We got a little bit of transaction news, a quick shout out, get out. No, let's see what you people got to say, and of course this condensed week. Now, one thing that the Packers coaches, Hafley's on the podium right now, LaFleur talked about in his press conference, yes, of course, this is a short week, going from a big matchup on Sunday against the Niners to a Thursday game against Miami, but then also being compounded by the fact that they don't have a longer break because then they go again next Thursday against Detroit. So they're basically doing 2 days worth of work in one single day now. And keep in mind that this injury report that you're about to get is actually an estimation because the Packers again did a walkthrough today. In this short week, they're not really doing any true blue full-blown practices. So it's all estimations. So this is today's estimation as provided by Matt LaFleur.
On the do not practice list, we have Jair Alexander, Edgerrin Cooper, Romeo Doubs, John Fitzgerald, Xavier McKinney, and Isaiah McDuffie. Limited would be Josh Jacobs and Josh Myers.
Yes. Now, to dive into that a little bit, Jair Alexander, Edgerrin Cooper, they are both fully expected to miss this game. That is not a surprise. That's what's been talked about for a while. Both of them are probably out. But then Doubs, same thing with his concussion. The likelihood that he can get through all of the stages of protocol. Now, LaFleur said that he was actually out there for the walkthrough today, but very, very different from actually doing anything. Very, very unlikely that he would pass through the protocol. And then when it comes to Xavier McKinney, LaFleur expressed that that was just purely personal, that he's going to be getting back into town later tonight. You're left to assume generally that's something like family related, right? Because he obviously had to leave town in order to come back to town. But LaFleur said he's going to be ready to go tomorrow. So no concerns there with Xavier McKinney. And then the two limiteds also fairly expected Josh Myers at the pec. And then Josh Jacobs with a litany of contact injuries. They just wanted the vet not to do all that much before he gets another 26 carries this coming Thursday. So one tidbit of news for you. Now, the Packers have Edgerrin Cooper likely out. Isaiah McDuffie has been an estimated DNP all week with an ankle injury. Teron Hopper is continuing to be a little bit of a project, even though he played well against the Niners. So linebacker depth, very, very limited. So you might have been thinking, hey, with all these injuries at linebacker going against a team like Miami that likes to run the ball, maybe they'll elevate Jamin Davis. They can't. Jamin Davis was signed off of the Packers practice squad today by the Minnesota Vikings because they're jerks. They took Jamin Davis. They replaced Ivan Pace, who they put on IR. Davis no longer a member of the Packers, and that leaves them perilously thin at linebacker, not even having someone to elevate off of the practice squad now. So maybe they got to call Chris Russell back, who spent some time on the practice squad weeks ago. Don't know. Maybe they're just going to roll with 3. We're going to have to find out. Or maybe McDuffie can get something shot into his ankle and we'll see him on Thursday. Not sure. So then I do want to zoom right through this, give you a quick shout out, get out, and because the shout out that goes to Quay Walker. This was by far his best game of the season. Overall PFF grades, 91.4 on defense, 91.4 on run defense, 82.2 on tackling, 77.9 on pass rush, and 70.9 in coverage. The man got 2 pressures. He had 5 tackles and 1 assist, no misses, 4 of them were stops, and then in coverage, yeah, he had a drop pick, but still only allowed 1 catch on 3 targets for coverage. For the guy that, like, the vast majority of us wanted benched or put into a different role or something, all of a sudden to come out with the game of his life thus far against the 49ers. Packers likely going to need a repeat of that. I titled this one A Sign of Things to Come. Hopefully this is the turning of the corner for Quay Walker to be better understanding the defense. Dave, what's up, Dave? We'll take the couple.
What's up, newlywed?
What's up, Dave? How you doing?
Saying Jamin got sniffed by the Vikings.
Yes, indeed.
Such a Vikings move. So
man.
Chuck it football.
You know, here's the thing, right? I understand that they moved Ivan Pace to IR. Jamin Davis, certainly one of the larger name practice squad linebackers out there. I understand all of it. Doesn't this still just feel like a purposeful dick move by the Vikings, though? Doesn't it? It just, the Packers happen to be horribly shallow at one position leading up to a Thursday game. So they poach the one guy. Big Al, what you got?
Packers are finally using Josh Jacobs' workhorse back. We've never seen this running back since Ryan Grant.
Boy, I don't even know as if I put Ryan Grant in the category. I mean, sure, in sheer volume occasionally, but it more reminiscent to me of like, I think it was 2003, Amon Green rushing for like 1,800 yards as it was the Favre broken thumb year. And Favre kept on playing, but Amon Green was going to carry after carry after carry. And LaFleur did just talk about that in his presser like half hour ago or so, where LaFleur was saying like it's kind of tough as a former QB to call this many runs. And I think everyone listening to that just went, we know, Matt, we know your tendency. But they're leveling into it, giving Jacobs every chance. And I do think we might see that again on Thursday. Dave.
Such a dick move. Sure would be nice to have Welch right now, huh?
It would. I really was on the keep Welch train at the end of the training camp because it was really hard to see like what more could Christian Welch have done to make this roster. He was showing out every day in training camp. His preseason games, he looked like the best dude on the defense in every preseason game, and he still was a special team standout. It's like, what? If you can't make a roster being like literally the best guy on your side of the field all training camp long, then you are never going to make the roster, right? And yeah, it would be so nice to have him back right now. I agree. So in terms of your get out, want to make sure that I get to that as well. Christian Watson, right? Like there's really kind of nothing else. I mean, he was wide open for the touchdown play, but it's more than that. He was targeted 3 times on the game, had 0 catches, only credited with 1 drop, but then also his run blocking was not great against the Niners. His grade in run blocking fell into the bottom half of every game he's done this year. So this was just overall for Christian Watson, a burn the tape type game. Go back to the tape from when you had 150 yards the week prior. Do whatever you did that week because this was a truly forgettable game for Christian Watson. And then the thing that's making me go, as I'm beginning prep for the Dolphins, look at that. Jacob Morley, he went out and found, he actually time dated all these things, pass rush win rate since the Preston Smith trade in a minimum of 20 pass rush snaps. Who's that at the top? Yeah, LVN. 21.1% pass rush win rate. Now, if you're not familiar with that stat, basically it's another PFF tracked thing. It takes a look at in every single matchup that you have, do you beat the offensive tackle in LVN's case, or do they beat you, thus stuffing you? LVN's winning at a rate of 21.1%, 6th out of 83 eligible edge defenders. And then Rashawn Gary, 15th. And then, you also see Kingsley and Brenton Cox. But LVN had his best game of the year by far this last week against the 49ers. In fact, logging a season high 2 pressures in that game. But this is the thing that's making me go, because ultimately, yes, he had a very good game against San Francisco, but the games leading up to that, did it feel like LVN was winning at a rate that was commensurate with top 10 in the league? No, this is one of those things that, like, from a statistical standpoint and the eye test, just do not match at all. So we'll have to see. Again, like Quay Walker, is it an indicator of things to come? Or perhaps a slight aberration? Big Al!
Big props to Goody for signing Jacobs and McKinney. For all my years, the only criticism of Ted Thompson is that he refuses to sign free agents despite having cap space. Again, just my opinion.
Yeah, and I understand that 1,000%. And I think if you're looking over the Ted Thompson tenure, the man did a lot of great things. I think that does have to be the flaw in the design, right? Because in those years, especially like the last third of his tenure as GM, as it's been rumored, his health was getting worse. And the draft classes also got worse. Things just weren't working anymore. And the cupboard for a couple of years there, like 2018, 2019, like that, 2017, I think I just went into Goots years a little bit, go back a couple. But like they just weren't great. And they never signed the free agents to plug the holes. And then that's what inevitably led to Mike McCarthy's departure, et cetera, et cetera. So I think you're spot on. Like that does have to be the criticism of the system. And something that Goot has done nicely is still be overall a draft team. But as he sees an area of weakness, he's going to attack it with all resources possible. And that is one thing we could not say about Ted Thompson, certainly.
Rockin' E is saying, yo, John, Tua is going to turn into a dry turkey against this defense.
That's the hope, right? I mean, I'll talk about it more tomorrow, but Tua happens to be completely defeated, the opposite of undefeated, in games that are under 40 degrees. Okay? I will also add on the larger context of Tua's never really been this hot in late November before. Like, he is right now, I'll have the exact stat tomorrow, but he's one of the leaders in the league in EPA since returning from his concussion. Like, he is on a tear right now. And this is not generally when Tua goes on a tear. Normally that's September, right? Like, it's getting colder. So something is going to give here. Either Tua is going to keep at that, in which case the Packers secondary may be in some trouble, or, yeah, he's going to be shriveled up and chilly. And then that should bode well for the Green Bay Packers. Just to give you a slight preview about the Dolphins, in terms of, now these are full season statistics, just take it with a grain of salt. I'll give you more nitty gritty tomorrow. In terms of run defense, they are 9th in the NFL right now, giving up 106.9 yards per game on the ground. Pass defense, they are 8th in the NFL, giving up 197.5 yards per game. Run offense, they are 16th at 116.8. And then pass offense, 207.1 yards per game, 19th in the NFL. However, that one I can tell you right now, over their last three, it's actually 250. So amongst the league leaders in that category. I'll break down all the trends in tomorrow's preview video, though. So the Dolphins, looking at the whole season stuff, some of those statistics are kind of mid-grade. Not the team they've been lately. This is going to be a great test for Green Bay, and realistically, their best test in the last month. Dave.
Also played Trey Wright, but motioned to a pony package, the illusion of complexity.
Yes, indeedy. Matt LaFleur's favorite phrase. One thing that I really appreciated was even JT O'Sullivan, QB School, dropped his Jordan Love video this week, and he talked about how some of the run scheming as of late has kind of helped to open up some of these easier passes for Jordan Love and company. And he even related it to, like, sometimes you don't really see this except for like in the CFL, and LaFleur is pulling from the CFL. What it really feels like right now is, we said, like, when Jordan Love came back and the run game was so successful with Malik Willis, what we wanted was take some of those run schemes that worked so well with Malik and bring them into the Jordan Love offense. Then you can have something really special. And it really felt like against the Niners, like, yes, you would have yearned for more efficiency from the pass offense, but the run scheming was brilliant, bringing in some of those, like, whirling motions, bringing in some of the more, like, high school style sets. The schemes are beginning to marry, and that could bode well.
Big Al's asking if Hill and Waddle are going to play for this game.
Everything I've seen indicates yes at this juncture. Looks like they are both going to be going, but of course I'll be diving into that more tomorrow. They've got some other injury concerns, though, such as Kendall Fuller, who hasn't gone the last 2 weeks with a concussion. I can't say it looks promising for him to go. So there will be some spots for the Dolphins that are injury depleted, but it doesn't look like Hill and Waddle are going to be one of them.
Rockin' E is saying, can you believe it? Packers got the 3rd best rushing attack in the NFL. I never thought that was possible since the Amon Green days.
It's wild, and it's with Jordan Love playing. I know, it's absolutely wild. But Josh Jacobs just, yes, the one thing you want is more big plays. But at the same time, in every other way, he feels like just so much the kind of running back that we've been missing. And that is opening doors for the running offense that, yes, we have not seen in a long time.
Big Al saying, I'm just hoping Quay Walker could have a good second half to finish this year.
I mean, certainly. You can't expect what he did against the 49ers every single week. But, I mean, if he can at least become, like, competent to above average, what a boon that would be for the Packers defense. If he plays like he did against the Niners, where he legit is one of the best off-ball linebackers in football, oh yeah, then the defense looks 1,000% different than it had, like, week in and week out. So, yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Big production from him would mean big things for the defense.
Chagavi saying, hello.
What's up, Chagavi?
I'm a little late, but I'm here. Any updates on Musgrave?
Nothing really. No. Anytime LaFleur's been asked about it in the last, like, course of the week, he's kind of said, like, yeah, he's coming along. Neat. I'm anticipating, based upon all of the comments that have been made, that we're looking at like a mid-December-ish type return for Musgrave following that ankle surgery. I really think we're a few weeks out yet, but they do seem optimistic about getting him back before the end of the year.
Dave saying they played some duo and power inside.
Yes, in fact, I think I think I'm quoting the stat correctly. Josh Jacobs is now leading the league in rush yards between the tackles now. And I gotta say, in terms of like protection, Sean Ryan is a shockingly large part of that. Over the last month, Sean Ryan has developed into a tremendous duo blocker with Zach Tom. They are forming a very nice collaboration on the right side of the line that, frankly, I don't think a lot of us saw coming. And they're working in great tandem a lot.
Big Al saying, have you heard that Clay Matthews tried to come back to the Packers in 2021?
Oh.
And Rodgers tried to push the front office to sign him, but it didn't work out.
No, I hadn't heard that one. I'm not shocked, though. I mean, on really any account, Rodgers clamoring to get one of his buddies back, that's the least shocking thing in the world. But also Clay, I mean, Clay at that time was done with his stint with the Rams. He had been productive for a very brief stint in that time. Yeah, I can't say any of that is really shocking. I will say, though, for the Packers side of things, Randall Cobb being one of the lone exceptions here, generally speaking, when it's a higher profile player and the Packers close that door is closed. It is rare that we see someone of at least of that caliber make a return later when they're older. That's just not really the Packer way.
Dave, yeah, Ryan is a hell of a run blocker. So is Morgan, but alas, that shoulder needs to heal.
It really does. And it's got to be so incredibly frustrating for the first round rookie because it's not like he just dinged it up once. Like I don't want to make it sound this way, but like it's not like it was a quote unquote simple injury where it was like a torn ACL and then you're out for a year, right? No, it's like he suffered the shoulder injury, came back once, came back twice. He obviously wasn't right with it, and then he aggravated it again, and now is shut down for a duration. Like that does have to be incredibly frustrating to go from chronic to debilitating. I still think he has an incredibly bright future, but the thing now is Sean Ryan has elevated himself from being like potential weak link on the line to like regular starter to looking at next year and roster planning for next year. Oh, dang, you can just pencil Sean Ryan in and not really be worried about it, which is a wonderful thing. But now, like, what's the plan longer term for the offensive line? We'll find out.
Jagavi asking, do you know who were the top 3 rated defensive players last game?
I can tell you right here. I happen to have it up, Jagavi. Yeah, a rather shocking top 3. Number 1, Quay Walker with an overall defensive grade per PFF of 91.4. Number 2, Javon Bullard, 84.9 on his overall grade, including an 87 in coverage. And then number 3, Keyshawn Nixon with an overall grade of 83.2, 84.4 in coverage. Yeah, I would have put a whole bunch of money on those 3 not being the top 3 graded for any game this year, and yet here we are. I did say in the preview that Javon Bullard was probably going to have like the toughest assignment out of any defensive player against the Niners, just because of who they can rotate in. Be it Kittle, Jennings, Debo, obviously. And Bullard, yeah, he showed out. He did great work, no doubt.
Big Al saying my biggest surprise this year is Kenny Clark. He just signed a huge contract and he's not impactful like his all-pro years.
Yeah, we're just not seeing the level of disruption. And I have to wonder, I know there's people who just want to like blindly blame him and everything. He didn't forget how to play football. And it's not like he got paid and isn't trying. Dude's been paid for several years. I just have to wonder if the Packers and he underestimated how much he really was benefited from being in the 3-4. How much he was benefiting from being more straight up, heads up against an offensive lineman as opposed to having to play into a gap. And that must just be wreaking way more problems than they ever anticipated. And it is neutering his production. So what the solution is to that, I honestly, like, at this point, don't really have an answer for you, and I'm not sure the Packers do either. The one thing I can tell you when it comes to Kenny is he is still getting double teamed at a really high rate. Like, opposing offensive lines are giving him a lot of attention yet. So, is it possible that, like, that's what's going on? He's just getting doubled too much and then can't get disruptive. And as Dave points out, like that toe injury, maybe that's wreaking havoc on him as well, not allowing him to push off as well as he would want. And maybe it's a combination of all of these things, right? That are just boiling into him becoming kind of like average on the line. Maybe. We just kind of have to hope that it's one of those things that evolves past where it is right now.
Dave's saying the plan is Donovan Jennings.
Maybe. I mean, what? He's technically on the practice squad right now. And hey, I do like Donovan Jennings, so sure, he can be depth on the interior.
Big Al, should we also blame the Packers defensive line coach for the lack of pass rush? Because last year we had a different D-line coach.
Nah, I can't really go there because no matter what, the commonality in the coaching staff has been Rebrovich. Because even last year, yes, they had a different D-line coach, but that was like the 3-4 line, so he was only dealing with the big guy. Like, Rebrovich still has been in charge of the defensive ends or the edges. So I wouldn't necessarily go that far. I would chalk this up much more to the overall schematic change, which we are seeing some tweaks from Hafley over the last couple weeks, so maybe that's helping the pass rush. So I got to go with overall schematic change, and then ultimately, too, the Packers maybe just not having the body type that's ideal for this style of 4-3, because they don't have some skinny, quick twitch Will McDonald type. They got all these big defensive ends outside of like Brenton Cox Jr., and that's not necessarily the best when you're asking them to be super lateral and like go chase the QB as the way to just power your way to the QB. Although we are seeing more power as of late, maybe that's the switch. Oh, yeah, got that one already. Dave.
I have an idea. Rebrovich trade.
Yeah, if you can get Robert Saleh to agree to go from Jets head coach to just being like D-line coach for the Packers or pass rush coordinator, do it. Absolutely. He's going to be the highest paid D-line coach. I still got to believe Saleh is going to walk his way right into a head coaching job this offseason. Like, someone is going to want him. He was revered as a good head coach. It's not like firing him has made the Jets better. So no one is going to look at that situation and be like, yeah, it was absolutely Saleh's fault. Like, no, I got to believe he's going to walk right into another head coaching gig, and this consultantship with the Packers will come to an end at the end of the year.
AFAM saying Jet Sweep Tuesday.
Yeah, Jet Sweep Tuesday. Jaden Reed Tuesday. Go with that. All right, everybody. I do believe it's time for us to jump on out of here. Be on the lookout. Probably going to be like tomorrow evening-ish when it actually gets uploaded and published to YouTube. The preview for Packers versus Dolphins. And then reminder, no watch party on Thursday. It is Thanksgiving. We're going to be with family. And then I'll put out some kind of post sometime about what the schedule will look like heading into another abbreviated week against the Detroit Lions. Oop, Dave, sneaking in before the buzzer.
Funnier things have happened. Jeff Saturday was a head coach.
Yes, ill-advised. Funnier things have happened, Dave. No, okay. I mean, that's like, I just want to think about that a little bit. Like, that's the equivalent of the Packers needing a head coach and calling up Frank Winters. Like, what? It just isn't done. All right, everybody. We out. Go have a great Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow for Packers versus Dolphins preview. And in case you don't check that out, just want to say again, have an absolutely wonderful Thanksgiving if you're here in the States. I was with every holiday. I genuinely hope that this holiday is everything you need it to be and you are surrounded with love. All right, everybody. Time for us to go. Enjoy tonight. See you tomorrow. And as always, back out.